Joe Biden, creepy, sleepy Joe, came out from under a rock yesterday, and he gave his first post-presidential speech at the ACRD, the Advocates, Counselors, and Representatives for the Disabled, coming from him, conference in Chicago. There are a couple of clips that just are going viral right now. I want to show the first one where, by the way, the music is still playing, and he's talking over the music, unaware of the situation. Give it up for creepy, sleepy Joe. Play this one, Daniel.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Who deserve
It's a joke.
Bro, no, it's not a joke. Do you guys understand? Like, this guy
Could be president
4
right
months,
now.
no, he was the president of the United States of America. And what drives me crazy, because I want to keep going, I hate that everybody's like, well, we didn't know, the other side. But what pisses me off more is we all knew, the Republicans knew, and they couldn't do anything. Think about it. They couldn't do anything, which is the scariest thing, bro. This balance of power, bro, I don't care who you are. They try to say Donald Trump is unfit. Shut up. You cannot compare the two. Donald Trump
His
is
physicals just come out. The greatest of all time.
and he's 6'9", 280.
4% body fat.
4%. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
but guess
it.
what? But dude, he's at the UFC till 3 o'clock in the morning and on Air Force One talking crap to the media. It's you cannot compare the two. Okay, so that's one. It pisses me off. The second clip is he told a story, guys.
I don't
can't-
believe this clip, Vinny.
It's
Can
100%.
I take it, but everything is wrong about it. He's an idiot for talking over the like he doesn't hear it. They're idiots for not fading the music out immediately.
Well, this is the Democratic Party. What do
It's
you
the
expect?
reverse of what happens every time at the Oscars. Somebody speaks too long, they start playing the music to get them off. They're playing him on. Like, preempt the beginning of his speech with the
That's
music.
so funny. They played him on. All right, this is actually true. And Daniel, you might have to put the volume really, really loud just for us in here. This is a story he told about seeing colored kids. Guys, just because you were around during that time, you shouldn't refer to black people as colored kids. All right? He remembers them on separate buses when he was a kid. This hasn't been used for decades, and it didn't land well. Daniel, play this clip.
And I had never seen hardly any black people in Scranton at the time I was only going in the 4th grade. And I remember seeing the kids going by at the time called colored kids on a bus going by.
Oh my God. Colored kids on a bus going by. Mind you, this is the guy that told an African American, what's his name? What's Charlemagne's real name? Buford or Howard? I don't know I don't really care. But he told him, if you got a problem with voting for Donald Trump, you ain't black. And he didn't say nothing. This is the guy that your dumbass and your party's backing. And I don't care when people are like, well, he doesn't remember. He's senile. No. He is a scumbag. And this guy, I don't care what anybody says, the amount of racist shit that he comes out of this guy's mouth is unbelievable and unchecked by the other side because they can't admit, because their party won't allow it, that he's that guy.
Have you seen the montage of him whenever he refers to or talks about a black guy, uses the word boy to describe them?
boy.
It was like a multi-minute montage.
Is that racist?
Hey, boy.
Well, it shows him.
If a white man of that, when he was around, hey, boy. How do you freaking
But it also
nuts?
just shows a mentality of even infantilization, if it's not overt racism, that this old dude is referring to. Whenever he talks about a black guy, it turns into a boy, and whenever it's not, I mean, it's just a weird reflex to have.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it was
you got to remember
consistent.
that poor kids are just as bright and talented as white kids.
As white kids.
So he's not racist. He believes everyone is equal.
He believes
you
everyone's
see.
equal, and he's a. And I don't listen. I don't buy into the. He's old. He doesn't remember. No.
No, when you're that old, your habits come out unchecked.
Exactly,
You
it's like
don't
an
create
alcoholic.
new ones.
Like wearing hawkas.
Yeah. That's great.
But you also remember
they're
how
comfortable.
you remember how this is the same guy who the woman who was his vice president once stood on a stage and said he opposed busing policies that were because of being racist.
Yeah, of course.
Kamala
That's
Harris
Kamala.
called Joe Biden racist and said he didn't want black kids being bused into white school districts.
Exactly.
This is
That
the guy
little
that
girl
put-
was me.
No, he put forward the crime bill. He's the one who referred to them like not super predators, but they're going to come and beat your mother over the head with a pipe.
He said the N-word mayor, the N-word this and that. He's that guy.
This is the reason why serial killers get caught. All right.
This is it.
Yeah, he slide. All right.
slide.
I would have just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And right into the sunset.
Yeah, no,
That's it.
no, they put him all the like what is?
Why?
I want to get to the last clip. What is bringing him out doing?
I don't know.
And I'll tell
Also,
you, because
It's fun.
He's at an event for the disabled. What does telling a story about a bus full of colored kids have to do with
absolutely
anything?
No, because this
to
is
do
what
with
it
the
comes down
disabled.
to. It's the third video that he's in play. He claimed that 30% of Americans that are Trump supporters have no heart, and this is why he's a scumbag. And I despise this guy. Go ahead, play this one.
We can't go on like this as a divided nation, as divided as we are.
I didn't understand that.
Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. It's never been this divided. Granted, it's roughly 30%, but it's a 30% that has no heart.
Yep. Wow. 30.
What we see in America.
By the way, and think about it. He didn't write that. He's not right. He's not even there. He's not even at this event. Whoever the Democratic Party is, and I'm so freaking happy they're sticking to their guns because they're going to lose for a very long time. That's the attitude. We're very divided. We're 30% of the nation doesn't have a heart. That means we don't give a shit about the nation.
No, but the irony is you get up there and say, we've never been more divided because half of the country are stupid jackasses.
Yeah.
Can't we just unite except for those stupid Like every time they say we're so divided, it's specifically because they are the ones doing the dividing by demonizing the other good faith, sincere actors who are voting according to their
It
conscience.
drives me nuts.
Yeah, and it goes only one way. They want the right to move left.
Yep.
They never offer solutions for the left to move right.
Never.
The smart ones are doing it. We had Chris yesterday.
Cuomo, all these guys are.
All the smart ones. They're like, all right, maybe we lost.
Yeah.
Bill Maher.
Bill
he
Maher's
was-
starting to
yeah.
shift, but and good. So guys, so I want to get to this next part, and I want to show these clips and just get through it because I want all you guys' opinions on this because I have a lot to say. But I that took 5 minutes, so I want to get through a bit. So was this yesterday or the day before? I think the
Day
This
before.
was Tuesday.
this
Or
was
no, I'm sorry. This was Monday.
Monday, Oval Office meeting. President Trump and El Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele addressed the deportation of Kilmar. By the way, they've been leaving out the first part. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran national. CNN reporter, if that's what you want to call her, Caitlin Collins tried to press Trump on whether he planned to comply with the Supreme Court directive. This was his response, and I absolutely love it. Go ahead, Daniel.
Air Force One just a few days ago, and they said that it must be facilitated.
Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that? Why do you go over and over, and that's why nobody watches you anymore? You know, you have no credibility. Please, go ahead.
And by the way, and number one, he is the sole person. He's the sole credit gotten person for destroying fake news. Mainstream media. It started with Jim
2016.
Acosta. You fake news, and the room gasped. How dare he? And that's exactly it. And I have no remorse for her. And I want to play this second clip, and I'll start going around. This is Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller delivering a brutal fact check to the media about this entire situation with this illegal gang member. Let's always remember that. Play the clip.
Would you answer that question also, please?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, he's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised with the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful. And its main components reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan
But
to
the
ask for
Supreme
anyone
Court's
to get
asking-
it
I
back?
love
Watch
Stephen
the
Miller.
Bukele.
The ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve, was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0.
9-0.
In our
That the
favor.
judge against the judge. That's trying to go against the
No
president.
district court has the power to compel a foreign policy function of the United States. As Pam said, the ruling solely stated that if this individual, at El Salvador's sole discretion, was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
He'll be deported again. Watch. And watch him kill
He's
him.
a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador.
Yeah, ask him.
For the court can only be driven.
And watch what he says. Bukele. Watch.
Well, I'm supposedly suggested that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States. Right? How can I smuggle? How can I return him to the United States? I smuggle him into the United States.
So think about that. Trump, this guy. Listen, for everybody out there, there's zero question. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care when the mainstream media tries to call this guy. Even if right now, because yesterday I googled this guy, every news outlet is like, how dare they? They made a mistake.
Maryland father of
Maryland
three.
father, hardworking father deported, family torn apart. And you know what the crazy thing is? We know why the lawyer was fighting not to have him sent there? Fear of rival gangs. If you're fearing a rival gang, what does that mean you are in?
Maybe you're a gang.
Gang.
Well, remember the immigration proceedings that let this guy stay in the country in 2019 said he is likely affiliated with MS-13, but we're afraid to send him back because it would be a threat to his life.
Yeah. Don't be in a gang then from the beginning.
You can object to him being confined to the El Salvadoran terrorist correction facility now if you have an issue with that, whatever. But the guy's crime was that he was in the U.S. illegally. That's all that is necessary to be deported. And this kind of gets into the whole thing of where the Trump administration has not been doing mass deportations in quite the way a lot of his voters were hoping. Because yes, they started with the criminal aliens, which was great. But there was also the issue of there are just too many people who came here illegally in the first place. Doesn't matter what other crimes they committed. It's a crime to be here illegally. Yep. So they have to go back to their country of origin and come the right way if they're going to be allowed to come at all. So this guy who was deemed a threat to the community by 2 different courts.
2.
They're now like, oh, you have to bring him back. Well, why?
Yeah.
Explain to me what logic is applied there of this guy who is currently locked up alongside terrorists, is affiliated with a gang that commits heinous acts and is now a designated terrorist organization. You must bring him back here.
But Connor, he's a hardworking father.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I don't care if you're a terrorist because Trump has designated MS-13 freaking domestic. They're terrorists.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
to that I say,
period.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but I got a response from Billy Baldwin, and I actually ratioed his tweet. Yesterday, he says, where is it proven that Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia is a member of MS-13? I don't want videos of Trump members of the administration talking about it. I want to see receipts, facts, court documents, proof.
Posted it.
To which I post the 2019 ruling from the bond judge, which says, quite literally, as the evidence shows that he is a verified member of MS-13.
Period. End of story.
Affirmed by the appeals review of that bond decision. And then people say, well, he was given a withholding order, which some people say, oh, that's asylum. That means he can stay in the country legally. No, what it actually meant is that they at the time said, we're not going to send him back to a specific country for the reasons which I think have now become clear that he would have possibly faced some repercussions from rival gang members. It was a bond hearing. It was not a hearing on the merits. So they have a trial to determine if this guy's an MS-13 gang member. The bond hearing judge heard it, said the evidence shows he is an MS-13 member.
Period.
It was affirmed on a review of that. End of story.
And mind you, bro, shame on CNN and every single mainstream media that's trying to use. Think about what they're trying to. They're using this to just say, oh, they're just grabbing people off the street, out of their houses. He's a father to do it, okay? And shame on you, scumbag media. I'm not even gonna go as mad as I want to go, but where the hell were you guys for the past 4 years when American girls, okay, in the hands of these illegals were getting raped and freaking murdered across the country? I'm gonna list a couple of these girls, okay? Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungare, Laken Riley, Chameleon Williams, Liseta Rabanales, Genesis Cornejo Alvarado, and Neighbor Hassanin. Where were you guys? Not one peep. It was only our side. And some of the details of just these girls, I was looking up, beaten, put in the woods, all this shit happening. Not a freaking peep. And that's why I'm happy Donald Trump now is suing CBS, 60 Minutes, and Paramount Global for defamation and election interference, okay? Shame on every single one of you. And Caitlin Collins, I hope to God this gets to you. shame on your ass. You should have some type of decency in your soul, if you have one, to just quit a freaking network that's been shitting on America, lying to the public. I had to make a list, and I'm all about lists today, guys. This is just a recap, Robbie, and I want to come to you, of just some of CNN's greatest lies. Russia collusion hoax, Nick Sandman case, Juicy Smollett hoax, Hunter Biden laptop suppression, COVID lab leak theory, Joe Rogan horse dewormer lie, Trump's fine people lie, January 6th officer killed with a fire extinguisher lie, Kyle Rittenhouse when they smeared him, bullshit, hands up don't shoot with Michael Brown, bullshit, border kids in cage photo. By the way, I'm almost done, but the list goes on and on. Horse whipping at the border. Remember with the Border Patrol guy? Turns out it was bullshit. Brett Kavanaugh spear. They pushed that. Mostly peaceful riots while cities burn. Bullshit. Okay?
There was also Trump's shithole countries. Trump removing the bust of Martin Luther King from the White House.
Lie. By the way, I could do an hour-and-a-half segment on that. Rob, with the whole situation, what are your thoughts? I want to say one more thing, then I want to go to the next story.
So he was a member of MS-13.
He is. Hold on.
Confirmed.
He is, and you can't get out. He is an MS-13 member.
Back to Connor's point, the guy was here illegally. Whether or not he's a member of MS-13 really has no bearing on the actual charges. The guy doesn't belong in the country in the first place.
Get his ass out.
So whether or not he was part of the LGBTQ army, whether he was a Blood or a Crip or Trendy Agua or MS, none of that matters. What matters is the guy was here illegally and he is no longer here. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, and guess what? The fact that he's in that gang, you deserve it. By the way, he's an El Salvadorian citizen. Take your shit back. Dude, the president of El Salvador is like, we'll keep him. We're not going to smuggle back a terrorist. You dumb American idiot. If you're an American and you have a problem with this, you're an idiot.
And here's why you can't give these people an inch, because this whole thing is predicated on the fact that after there was an objection voiced by all of your anti-deportation activists, ICE admitted that the guy was sent back to El Salvador because of an administrative error.
That was a mistake.
They admitted in paperwork and court filings that he should not have been sent back, and that now we don't have the power to bring him back here, which is why the courts got involved, which is why the press seized on it. Do not give these people an inch. Do not admit that. There is no administrative error here. It's very clear that this guy did not belong in the country and should have gone back to his country of origin, which he did.
I disagree with Rob. It should have bearing because these people are cold-blooded murderers, and people. I think ICE and everyone should start looking into it. All right, because the level of killing of these people, they have no soul. They have no soul. They don't care about human life.
Period.
I think anyone, legal or illegal, that is a gang member, a terrorist member, should be looked into and kicked out. Vinny, do you see what came out of?
Did they not do that?
No, they don't.
Oh no,
but did they not do that with this guy? So
this guy, they were like, okay, the paperwork.
They've already kicked him out.
Oh, they kicked him out, but the fact that a judge who nobody voted for your stupid ass judge, whatever the hell your name is, you're gonna try to override, bro, because the plane left. They tried to bring him back. Are you? By the way, I had to write this down. The Democrats' top 3 heroes in America right now. You know who they are? The gang member.
It's
Luigi Mangione
and
Carmelo
kid
Anthony.
who
That's
stabbed the
who
guy
they
at the track meet,
praise. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.